Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Engel, and welcome to Puppy Behavior Basics, starting them off right. Have you ever had a dog who liked to jump on people, was afraid of strangers, didn't like nail trims, greets people by jumping, barking, or scratching at them, doesn't like car rides, or is afraid of fireworks or thunderstorms? These behaviors can almost always be attributed to uh, the dog being exposed or not exposed to things when they were at a critical socialization period of between 6 and 16 weeks. This critical socialization period sets your dog up for the rest of its life with its personality, making it much more difficult, if not impossible, to alter its behavior after this critical time period. So let's start them off right. These are my dogs, and that's Brody, the standard poodle, and Nikolai, the Doberman. And unfortunately, I did not get them at as puppies, so they do have some quirks of their own because of that. So we'll go through the puppy socialization milestones, and the first one is the awareness period between 21 and 23 days. This is where learning begins, where mom is teaching them basic things. The canine socialization period of 3 to 7 weeks is where basically your dog learns to be a dog. Our focus is going to be on that critical socialization period of 6 to 16 weeks, where you're going to want to provide varied and diverse positive experiences for your puppy to set them up for being a well-rounded, easygoing adult dog. So the first thing is to handle your puppy everywhere. You're going to want to touch their ears, face, feet, teeth. You're going to just gently hold that area, and when they allow you to handle that area, to reward them with praise or treats for allowing this handling. This is going to be important if you're going to want to hopefully trim nails, brush their teeth, and really helpful for us. We're going to want to be able to look into their eyes and ears, and handle them in places that most people are not generally going to handle them. So it'd be very helpful for us to have them get used to this at this time period. You want to socialize your puppy to people. Expose them to all shapes, sizes, ages, and personalities. They're going to be wearing different clothing. Some dogs are afraid of hats. Have your kids put on their old costume from Halloween, and in a nice, don't frighten the puppy, but have them wear that and get the puppy used to things that are on your face or on your head that they might only encounter once a year, but getting them exposed to this when they're at that critical age is going to really help to make it not frightening at a later date when they're an adult. Always give special treats, make all these encounters pleasant. If they are not, back off and maybe try again with less things on their face or head, or and then try again, and always end up on a good, pleasant note. You want to think about what you might be putting on your puppy in the future, and we're not just talking about the pretty little coats and dresses and skirts, but they may need boots in the winter to protect against the salt, or covering on their feet or pads for running in the summer on the asphalt. But also head halters, good to introduce them at this puppy age, wonderful for being able to walk without the puppy or an adult lunging and pulling you all over. Also, some dogs will come into the clinic that have never been on a leash or collar yet. They're farm dogs, just live in a remote area where it didn't seem necessary. So their first experience with a collar or leash is getting on it at the house, going in the car, and coming into the clinic. So they're already kind of freaking out, don't really know what's going on by the time they get to the clinic. So they're frightened as soon as they walk in the door. Another thing is sometimes a muzzle might become necessary if the dog is was injured, as painful and frightened. So introducing a muzzle to a puppy in a non-threatening manner, putting treats inside that muzzle so that they put their face right in and they're like, oh, this is great. When I put my face in here, I get treats. Also, an e-collar. If you like a spay, neuter, laceration, something where that might require an e-collar, why not introduce that to them when they're puppies, and then it's not going to be a new frightening experience if in fact they may need to use that at a later date. You want to expose your puppy to a variety of sounds and objects. Expose them to things like vacuum cleaners, doorbells, whistles, car horns, just heavy traffic. Maybe play some thunder, at a low level to get them used to that, so it's not frightening when there's a thunderstorm. Again, you don't want to push them past where they're comfortable. You want to make it, they may be startled initially, and then they should recover very quickly. If they don't, stop and maybe try it at a lower level, or something that is really distracting to the puppy, a special toy or treat, and try again. You also want to take your puppy everywhere with you. If you do need to use common sense, and that would be if it's an 8-week-old puppy that just had one set of vaccines, you might not want to go to PetSmart or dog parks, that type of thing. However, do not wait until they have their full series for other things, because you're going to miss that critical socialization period and it's going to be too late. So it is much more important to get them exposed during that critical period than the risk that there's going to be something that they're going to expose to make them ill. That's much less likely, and much more likely that if you don't do it, they're going to have behavior issues or anxieties. Excuse me. So you also want to go to these places repeatedly, so they're not an exciting new adventure each time, that they become more and more comfortable with it. So going to softball games, or again, like the picture, going to the beach, or including the veterinary clinic. Have them come in, greet whoever's right there at the front, and they'll get some treats and some hugs and kisses probably, and they'll think it's a great place to be. And then when they do come in again, they'll be like, hey, I've been here before. I like it here. They like to see me, and I get stuff. Now, if your puppy does get car sick, sometimes people are like, well, he'll get over it eventually, and, then it'll be fine. Well, that might be the case. However, I wouldn't assume that he'll just get over it. So what's going to happen potentially is that he's going to remember that when I get in the car, I get sick. And then he's going to have anxiety about getting in the car because he knows he's going to get sick. So there are anti-nausea medications that we can either prescribe or recommend to you so that they don't get that car sickness when they're a puppy. And then they're going to have much more pleasant car rides in the future. You want to play with your puppy the right way. A well-behaved puppy, I always say, is a tired puppy. And that is really important to get out that energy. They're going to be able to learn better if they've been worn out. Also, if your puppy is bored, you're not going to be able to train it very well. They're going to get into things that you're not going to appreciate, and you're going to want to reprimand, but you don't really want to reprimand. You really want to prevent the behavior from happening, and divert them to something else. You want to provide some mental stimulation when, say, they're in the crate and you got to go to work. Put a Kong with peanut butter in it, or a puzzle toy, something in there that's going to keep them occupied. You're also going to want to teach and reward your puppy for learning basic commands. If your puppy has learned the basic commands, when they are misbehaving or getting into things, they're going to be more apt to listen to you and do the right thing when you're giving those commands. So the basic commands are going to be essential for diverting your dog away from whatever they're doing that's inappropriate. You will want to be your puppy's leader, not his servant. So when your puppy's bugging you and wants to play or is pawing at you and you give in, you're teaching the puppy that being obnoxious and whining and crying are going to get him what he wants. So you want to wait about 10 seconds when they're behaving themselves. Then you can go ahead and give the puppy some attention, but do not reward that behavior. It's kind of like your kids pulling on your pant leg, mom, 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 and finally you're like, what? Well, now you just rewarded your child for bugging you, and it's the same thing with the puppy. You also don't want to put yourself into the play position. What I refer to it as, and that's it. When you're down on the ground and they want to pull on your hair and excuse me, and chew on things, chew on your limbs. You want to divert that away by giving them throwing a ball or giving them a chew toy, and then diverting away from chewing on you to something else. You don't want your puppy also to follow you around the house. You want your puppy to sit and stay, and then you call them when you're ready for them to come and be with you. That takes some doing and some time, but if they follow you around, they're going to always be basically bugging you and not learning that they really have the ability to be by themselves every now and then. It's going to give them some self-esteem and being able to be by themselves. Excuse me. So you do want to make sure that you're choosing the right puppy for you, however. If you're a laid-back person and you don't like to do a whole lot of exercise and you just want a lap dog, you do not want to get a high-energy dog like a Jack Russell. If you're a jogger, make sure that your dog can keep up. My standard poodle and my Doberman will definitely outlast me when I jog. For some help on that, there is the website there that's listed from IAMS. It's a breed selector, and it helps you choose your breed. Also, if you have a if you're, looking into a mixed breed, you kind of have to look at what breeds they are, their activity level. Look at mom. How is she? What is her activity level? And hopefully the dad is there too, to be able to show you what their personality might be like. You want to enroll your puppy in puppy classes. It is more likely that the dog will be relinquished due to a behavior problem than, again, contracted disease in puppy class. So you want to make sure, that you see if you can find a good puppy class. That class should be small. Maybe 2 to 6 is a great number. All the puppies should be of the same age group, which is between about 8 and 13 weeks when they start the classes. And the goal is really socialization between dogs, being able to teach the puppies to walk nicely by each other rather than pulling and barking and carrying on every time you walk by somebody. Like that frequently happens when you're, walking your dog down the road. And you want to try passing the puppy around to different people, also helps with socialization. So with dogs and the people, you're going to get some good socialization. On the other hand, you don't want to match your puppy with the same puppy all the time for play. And that is because if you have a really boisterous puppy and he's only playing with another boisterous puppy, you might think that that's a good idea. They're going to tire each other out, but they're also going to need to learn to interact in a polite manner with a puppy or an adult that might be quieter or more timid. And those type of dogs are not going to appreciate the chewing of the ears and mouth and everything that goes on with some of those puppies who love to play so rough that it sounds like they're trying to kill each other, but they're not. So passing them around and having them mixed to exposed just is going to teach them that not everybody wants to play that way, and I need to really kind of put out feelers to say, okay, how does this puppy or this adult want to play, and change their behavior. So in conclusion, the behavior problems are the number one cause of relinquishing to shelters. Make sure your puppy gets that special care and training that it needs at this critical period. It's really 6 to 8 and 16 weeks. And if you set them up right, give them good experiences, varied experiences, it's going to set them up for being a well-rounded, easygoing, hopefully anxiety-free dog, and that's going to last a lifetime. On this slide, there are some helpful links that you're going to find on our website. Those are to the left. And to the right are some links for additional information on this critical social period time that you might find useful. Thank you very much.